Hey everyone, welcome to this episode. It's a little bit of a different episode again because this is actually a recording from an Instagram live that I did with my dear, dear friend Elisabet. And Elisabet and I are offering a pilgrimage to Gozo in Malta next year around the Vernal Equinox in 2025. And we wanted to take a moment to introduce ourselves and give you an opportunity to be in a virtual space with us. So you can tune into our energy, you can experience where we're both coming from, what our intentions are for this pilgrimage, so that you can really decide for yourself whether this is a space that you want to share with us. There are a very, very, very limited amount of spots available. So if you're listening to this episode and you really feel a call to join us, my recommendation is to act really quickly because spaces are running out and going to my Instagram at Cycle Seeds and DMing me the word pilgrimage. And then you will automatically get the link to the pilgrimage page and you can follow all the steps to apply there. Enjoy this conversation, and I really hope to see you live around the vernal equinox next year in Malta and Gozo. I'm just going to wait until more people are coming on. I will be joined by my friend Elisabet today. And I'm very much looking forward to this live and to be sharing with all of you. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to take a moment for everyone to settle in before we start. And in the meantime, I am inviting Elisabet. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Elisabet is here. It's always a surprise whether this live setting is working. Yes, it is.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I'm just setting up here. There we go. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you. I can hear you. People are rolling in. I'm super
Amazing.
happy to have you here and super happy to be in this space with you and share with people about an incredibly beautiful collaboration that we are hosting next year.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so first I want to do just a little bit of an introduction, who we are, what we do, and then we'll go into the pilgrimage that we are going to host next year.
Yes.
Would you like
Mm.
to start sharing a little bit about yourself?
Sure. About how we met or what I do, or what would you like me
Both.
to start with?
Both. Both is
Okay.
good.
Yes. So I work with the sacred divine feminine energies. That's part of the main thing that I do. And we met on a beautiful retreat in the south of France on a Mary Magdalene mermaid womb retreat with a fellow friend of ours, Dakota. And it was such a powerful, beautiful pilgrimage. And I felt that you and I had a very deep connection even before I met you, because I just intuitively knew that. And so when we met, there was like a remembrance of us working in similar ways throughout our life. And I guess the points that we really reconnected with were working with the womb energies and the water energy, the feminine principles. And what I love working with is the goddess energies. So the goddess energies are related to the ancient civilizations on Earth,
Mhm.
really that mythical truth that is so present in nature and that I believe that each and every woman can really connect to that deep within her heart and her soul. So I've lived in Avebury now for the last 5 years. And for those who don't know, Avebury is the largest stone circle on Earth. And it's a very magical place. It's full of mystery, it's full of beauty, and it's full of healing. And there are many earthworks on this land, which is so sacred, that are so connected actually to the wisdom of the goddess, the wisdom of the waters in the earth, and how we have actually, yeah, we have been connected to the wisdom of the earth for millennia, but it's almost like we have forgotten the beauty, the truth, and the love that actually is present in these earth temples. And so when you mentioned Malta to me, it was like my heart just jumped, and I was so excited because it's always been a dream of mine to go to Malta and visit the ancient temples and really immerse myself into the goddess culture that was so prevalent there. So, yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I want to like hook in on that because what many people don't know about me that I don't really share on here is that my
Yeah.
background is actually in anthropology. I'm an anthropologist. I've always been extremely interested in human history, why humans do things the way they do them, the sacred building sites that are built all over the world. And I remember that I did an exchange at UCLA, and to get to my classes, I would have to walk through the archaeology department, and there was this
Yes.
wall with news where they would literally put pictures about new sacred sites and objects that they would have found, and it was. I was always excited to like walk through that hallway and go look for like what is the most ancient thing that they have found. And so I've always been connected to sacred sites, ancient sites, and that's how I ended up in Malta. I was reading about the temples. I told you this story, and I had a physical reaction reading about these beautiful temples, and I decided to go there, and I fell so deeply in love and so deeply in remembrance that I had to go there. And then eventually I decided that I had to move there. So I went to the temples when I visited for the first time. And I decided to move to the islands shortly after to be able to spend more time in this place. And actually, when I lived in Malta, there was already this vision of I need to bring like-minded people to this place. I have
Yes.
to bring people to all of these sacred sites that I'm visiting and I'm gaining so much wisdom from.
Yes.
And I never I never like moved forward with that because it felt so big to do, like to hold a group, to bring a group to an island. And then we met at this beautiful pilgrimage in France.
Yes.
And it was immediate recognition. And what I remember from our first meeting is that you were so connected to Sirius, the
Yes.
star Sirius.
Yes.
And obviously, I know what the star Sirius means in Malta. Every single temple is built towards it. So
Yes.
this was like an immediate connection point that we had when we met. And you knew, and I knew. And then I proposed and I said, I have this vision for this beautiful pilgrimage. Would you like to join me? And you were like full bodied, yes, no doubt at all. And at first I was like, is she sure? Like there is no like there is no doubt in her, and she just met me.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, I teach about the heart. I follow my heart. It's one of the main wisdoms that I hold courses, I teach about it. I live with the heart. I live from the heart. So I've never been led astray when I follow my heart. And it was an instant yes from my heart to yours. And obviously, now that I know you better and we've been working together towards this, it's so obvious because I've been living here in Avebury and I've guided groups and held workshops and courses where I've brought people onto the land and done initiations, and also, you know, connecting them back into the wisdom of the mother, the wisdom of Mother Earth, the wisdom of the goddess, the wisdom of the cosmic universe. And so you're doing the same. And I mean, it is like divine guidance that we meet and we get to do it together, because it's like you're saying, it's a huge, enormous responsibility to bring a group of, you know, a group of people into a sacred space. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of devotion, commitment, and I would say it takes wisdom, and that wisdom can only be earned through experience, and we both have that. So together, I'm very, very, very excited, and yeah, about what's going to unfold on Malta next year.
Yeah, so for people who are just dropping in, we are talking about a pilgrimage that we are hosting next year. And the next thing that I want to go into is the specific timeline in which this has to happen. So, like I
Yes.
said before, I have been called by the goddess, by something bigger, to host this. And there was always a very specific date and a very specific timeline connected to this. And I was never ready. I never felt like fully ready until now. And
Yeah.
when I decided I was going to do this, the thing that I heard was Vernal Equinox 2025. And the Vernal Equinox is the spring equinox of the Northern Hemisphere. And it's a very potent time. It's a very sacred time. I've always felt really connected to the vernal equinox because for me, it is when the new year starts. I think it's completely weird that we start a new year in January in the depths
Yes.
and the deepest pit of winter. But the
Hmm.
spring is and specifically the spring equinox is a really potent time of leaving a cycle behind and starting a new one. And these sacred sites, the ancients who built these sacred sites, they knew. They knew
Yes.
how
Yes.
important this celestial event of the equinox was because they are built in such a way that the equinox and what happens in the cosmos reflects in the sacred sites in the temple. And
Yes.
so it was obvious that we had to be there during the vernal equinox. Do you
Of
want to
course.
share?
It's the
Do you want to share?
it is the highlight, and it's the most potent illuminated moment of the temple that we could ever dream of. And, you know, to honor the ancestral wisdom that is there is really to go there and immerse ourselves into that energy. Because when the sun rises on the 21st of March, the sun then enters the very entrance of, you know, the temple, and it illuminates the inner sanctum, which then is the inner womb space
Yes.
of the earth goddess. So this temple can be a representation of the goddess herself. And I like to think that there is this moment where it's almost like a conception happening with the light, the cosmic light coming from the sky, from up above, coming in and penetrating into this temple, this ancient temple representing the goddess. And then that moment of conception, when you're in that space, those incredible energies are going to transcend and expand, you know, through all the timelines. And, you know, the rest is a mystery. I'm not going to say what I think is going to happen. I'm going to leave that to to be experienced in the group, but it's very exciting, and it has a very fascinating link to Egypt as well, because Egypt is a culture that was very, very focused on the star Sirius as well, which all the temples, like you said, in Malta are directed towards Sirius and the rising of Sirius.
Mhm.
And Sirius is the goddess star, the star of Isis, the brightest star in the sky. So there is so much wisdom to delve into and to, yeah, to immerse ourselves in.
Yeah, there is much to uncover, and I really like this metaphor of seeing these temples as a reflection. Like you already mentioned it, I have my little Maltese goddess statue
Yes.
here. Like one of the temples is actually in the shape when you look at it from the sky. These temples
Yes.
are the shape of this little goddess.
Yes.
And so I love the metaphor of these temples and see them as a reflection of the earth and see them as a reflection of our bodies. And my vision for this incredible week that we're going to be spending together is about unearthing the wisdom in the temples just by going there. When you go into these temples, oh my God, like there is so much that is unlocked just by being there and
Yes.
using that as a metaphor to unlock the same things in our own body, our physical body, our energy body. And what I believe is that for so many years, this wisdom is like covered up
Yes.
by everything that patriarchy has
Hidden
made
from
us
us.
believe, hidden from us and made us believe. But I have personally experienced, and I know you have too,
Yes.
when you go to sacred places that are built by the ancients, by our ancestors, with a specific purpose, and you go there in a moment that is sacred to them, like the vernal equinox, the energy is heightened, and the experience that you have and what you can unearth within yourself and what you have to learn within yourself is enhanced and is unveiled to you. And that has always been my experience when I visited sacred sites all over the planet. And I know, I mean, you have been like an angel on earth, like moving between sacred sites. And I know that you have experienced something similar. And I feel that um, a lot of like groups who visit these places miss that point. And I think you and I are really rooted in the here and now, in the physical body,
Yes.
and what can happen when we visit a sacred site and we follow the instructions of what this space needs before you enter it,
Yeah.
and then honor what you can receive there and not take more than the place has to offer. And be in
Yes.
full, yeah, and be in full reciprocity and respect with this place.
Yes.
And that is my vision, to go with a group of people who are meant to be there. I feel that people will know. Like we've
Yes.
had women sign up and they just said to me, I felt I had to be there. There was no other explanation. And
Yes.
my invitation is also when you're listening to this and you feel this curiosity and you feel this like little tingle inside yourself or this little fire or this little like, ooh, what is that? Explore
Yes.
that. Because that little voice is the thing that we're going to be working with. And we're going to allow you to not even like teach, just allow you to let that unfold within yourself. Because we don't need to teach you anything. Like, I want to make that very clear. We're not going there as your teacher. We are all equal. The whole group that will be there together, we are all equal. We're all learning from each other. I just know the places. I just know the map, and I'm just going to guide you to
Well,
all
yeah.
the physical geographic places there where we can go together, and then we let unfold whatever it is that needs to be unfolded. We actually spoke about this earlier, that you cannot
Yes.
like plan what happens at a sacred site. Like you can have like a whole plan in your brain, but 99% of the time it doesn't happen.
Yes, but it's really important, I believe, because I have been working with the sacred feminine and the wild, free feminine and the sensuality and the sexuality and all these really potent life force energies. And what I have found is that when you create a safe environment, a safe and secure environment, then the feminine thrives.
Yeah.
And so I want to really underline that both you and I have a lot of experience when it comes to working with women or working with groups, and we are womb healers, and that we know we have received the passage of rites of the
Mm.
womb, and we've received the wisdom codes. So we're not just going on a whim and we're going out for fun.
No.
We're really going in reverence, but there is this part of the mystery is to stay open and curious and
Mm.
to not be too structured in this is what we're going to learn and this is what we're going to do, but really open up to that unfolding of the mystery, because that's what a temple is built for. The temple is built for the mystical unfolding, for that sacred union of the unknown and the known, the darkness and the light, and the dance of the two. And so when we bring this group there, we make sure that the group is completely held, and that we share our wisdom around how do we approach a sacred site, how do we respect it in reverence and devotion. And with anything in life, what you give is what you receive.
Yes.
So this is such a beautiful offering. Just to be present there, you're going to receive so much. Everyone who comes, they will unlock the codes that are waiting for them.
Definitely, 100%. And I want to speak a little bit more to what you said about the feminine being kind of like wild, unpredictable.
Yes, yes,
Um, and this is also true for the water in our body. There is a specific setting that is needed for, to say it very plainly, for our body to produce certain fluids. If
yes,
you are emotional and you want to cry, there needs to be safety for that. For a
yes,
woman to open in a sacred, sensual, and sexual setting, there is a container for that. There is a structure that is needed, a safety that is needed for
yes,
the water to flow. So, this is an important aspect that I wanted to add into this retreat, in this pilgrimage, because I've been working a lot with water, with like physical water and the potent healing of water, like water outside of my body, rivers, oceans, springs, all the waters, but
yes,
also the water inside of the body. There is so much water inside of our body that we never talk about, that we never gain wisdom from. So I'm going to share all that I know about the sacredness of water and the kinds of water in our bodies, whether it is tears, whether it is blood, whether it is lymph fluid, whether it is cervical fluid, sacred sexual fluid. Like, all these beautiful waters in our body are never spoken about. We are not taught about them. So
yes,
an important aspect of this pilgrimage for me, because Malta is an island, water is holy there. Water plays an important role, and all the temples are built close to sacred water sites and close to the water.
yes,
So we cannot unthink water water from the feminine. We cannot think water away from the feminine. We cannot think water away from the womb. So for me, these two are always connected. And I know that people who are maybe just tuning in, they're not really seeing the connection yet, because we're not taught. But for me, they are one. They are so connected and they need each other. And so water needs the wisdom that comes from our wombs in reverence, and our wombs are built up out of water, and they need water in many ways. So that's an important aspect.
It's
So,
so important. It's so
yes.
important. And I want to also bring this back to the cosmic cycles of the earth, which go over thousands of years. So, civilizations like the one who built the temples on Malta, they also did that in honor of the water flow on earth, the feminine aspect of the water. And how is that linked to the stars? Well, Sirius, when Sirius rises, it's called a heliacal rising of Sirius. So, for example, in Egypt, when Sirius, the star, the brightest star, which is the spiritual sun, rises alongside the the physical sun, let's say the sun that we all know, they rise together. Something incredible happens on Earth. Sirius moves the waters. She used to actually flood the Nile, the whole river, feeding and fertilizing the land in Egypt, used to flood over her borders to really nourish the lands and make sure that the harvest in Egypt was a successful year. It represented the New Year of Egypt, the 26th of July until the 30th of July. That's when Sirius rose in the sky. And so to remember this, we can link it to Malta and say, well, these cultures that existed there, they knew this wisdom and they knew that Sirius was so important and had this incredible way of moving the waters on earth. So without water, we couldn't survive even for a couple of days. We come from the water, like you say, we're birthed through the waters, and anatomically, we are mostly water. Like our body is composed with water. So understanding the cycles of the stars, the planets, the moon, having this magnetic force on us in a continuous cycle, this is so important of understanding what it is to be a woman, and it is to have a womb that can birth things in this universe.
Yeah. And the ancients who built these temples knew all of this. Undoubtedly,
Exactly.
they knew.
Yes.
Because how could they, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, build these temples so accurately towards one specific star in the sky? They
Yes.
needed a specific type of wisdom for that. So my vision is always that these people were like way smarter than we are today. And
Of course.
and when you
In a
visit
way they
these,
were, yes.
yeah, and when you visit these sacred sites, you just feel there is not only a wisdom, but there is also an intelligence, like a higher
Yes.
sacred intelligence of why is this temple built exactly in this place? Why is it if I go to this specific temple, I feel this specific way? If I go to another temple, why do I feel that specific way? Why is
Yeah.
there another emotion that comes up, another vision that comes? Like, so every temple has its specific purpose and specific
Yes.
goal. And so when I'm going to take you on that journey, we are going to visit these places, and we're going to visit these places with a different purpose. And I'm not even going to tell you the purpose, like you'll feel the purpose when you enter the temple. And it's not only temples, by the way, it's also caves. So caves have a similar potential, and caves have been used by the ancients for a very long time, as sacred portals as well. I mean, we had like a very beautiful example of that in France. I think that was our one of our most beautiful moments
Absolutely.
there.
You
Shall I
you
share?
feel like yeah, it feels like you're inside the womb of Mother Earth herself. And it's like you get to experience where you come from. Because I do believe that we're here to represent earth and heaven all at once. Like we're here to be in union. The divine inner union for me means to be in union with Mother Earth, but also with all of the sky, with the cosmos, you know. And when you're in the cave, it's like you really go back to the origins,
Yes.
where our ancestors used to live and have ceremony and honor the earth, and you know, and that again goes down into the mysteries of the earth and the waters there. So much water there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I share about our experience in the cave?
Yeah. Yes, please do. That would be amazing.
So, for people who are like not really sure about what kind of things can happen in sacred spaces, so Elisabet and I, we were in France and we entered a very sacred initiation cave. It was actually known in the region as an initiation cave. And I entered this place and I saw this cave wall and I was like, I need to be there. I was
Yes.
like,
You
immediately.
stuck yourself to the wall. Like,
And it was something that felt natural. I had to do that. I was like, wall. I need to like go to this wall and just
yes.
lean into this wall. And Elisabet was next to me and I just held her hand. And the more I sunk into this cave, the more I felt I was like pulled into the wall and physically in my body, just to bring it back to the very physical form about how it can feel. What I felt in my body was that the gravity
Yes.
point of my body was moving. So the gravity point, for people who don't know anatomy, the gravity point of the body, of the female body, is the hips. So
Yes.
the hips are the heaviest point, they're the gravity point. From there you root down, you rise up. So I was leaning into this wall, and my gravity point was changing from my hips to my middle back. Now, the middle back is what becomes the point of gravity when there is weight on the body. When is there weight on the body? When you are heavily pregnant. So I
Yes.
felt myself going back into the womb, having this gravity point of my body completely shift and change. And you can feel it still.
Yeah. I can feel it as you're speaking.
And I was holding Elizabeth's hand, and I was so deep within myself. I didn't know what was happening around me. But at a certain point in my mind's eye, I could see and hear a lot of thunder. There was so much
There
thunder in my
was so much thunder
in
that
my
was produced in that moment.
yeah, there
Sorry.
was a lot of thunder, but it arrived
Yeah.
in my head first. And at a certain point, we all heard the thunder in the valley. But
Absolutely.
when I heard it,
Absolutely.
it wasn't there yet. So it was such a magical experience, and I couldn't move. I told to Elisabet a lot of times, I was like, I can't
Yes.
move. I can't move. I can't move my body. It's not moving. I just have to be here.
Yes, and it was like you were energetically merging with the stone wall
Yeah,
behind you. And
yeah,
I could sense the energy in your body in my hand, and it was literally shaking because it was so incredibly strong.
yeah,
And when you said I can't move my feet, I just knew that you were really, really feeling the energy of this cave, and you were just immersing yourself in the energy that was like there in that moment. And it was so incredible.
yeah, yeah.
But it was also like a gift for you to receive, because we then later saw that you were actually standing in the most powerful point energetically, which is why these caves very often come to be, or temples are built. Because somebody asked, why were temples built and why were caves important? It's because the earth energy that is there has a purpose to heal someone.
Mm.
Most of the time it's healing purpose, because there's an energy underlying, and this energy is always in a spiral, which is another symbol of the feminine. And
Yeah,
so there's this spiral energy in the earth, or in the cave, or in the temple, or there is underground water, which is called aquifers, that are also very healing in their energy that they give off, that can actually produce spontaneous healing in the body, or
yeah,
spontaneous energy transfer, which is what you were receiving. You were receiving the earth energy, which can be overwhelming, but it's also so beautiful because it's like you are receiving a healing gift from the earth itself. And
Yeah, and
this
this
is
exactly.
why, yeah, this is why these places existed thousands of years ago and still do until today.
Yeah, and they still function in that way. I wanted to say, like, I've had experiences like that in Malta as well. And in Malta, it was my initiation. It was the first time
Yeah.
that I could put my hands on a stone and have a very profound experience, which then made me think and feel into and act upon moving there. Because I wanted more. I wanted to understand more of what was happening, why it was happening, and
Yes.
see what I could have more experiences like that. Not to collect experiences, but to gain understanding and gain respect for these sacred sites and for these sacred sites to allow me to have an experience like that there. Because you can't just go in and expect an experience. It doesn't work that
No,
way.
it's not. It's not about, it's again, it's not about what can I get from this.
No.
It's about actually honoring Mother Nature, honoring all the elements of life. And someone says, does water mean purification and life? Yes, of course it does. It means everything. Life is consciousness. Water is consciousness.
Yes.
You know, it is all co-created and it's all interconnected. So the beauty of these experiences and the beauty that the ancestral wisdom has given us is that we get to reconnect with the truth of who we are. And we are Mother Earth, we are nature, we
Yeah.
are life experiencing itself. Or some say you are God, goddess experiencing yourself in a human form.
Mm.
And the remembrance of that
Yeah.
and the wholeness of being connected to all of life, then everything changes. It's like you get a perspective that opens your heart up and you realize that everyone you see is just a reflection of yourself, and all the beauty of the universe and nature is also you. And then you fall in love with life, you fall in love with everything, and you can let go of the things that are hurting you or painful. And that, I believe, is a way to heal your soul. So I'm going to go as far as to say that going on a pilgrimage to Malta and uncovering the mysteries that are there waiting for us all, it can lead to healing parts of your soul.
Mm.
If you're
Yeah.
open and you are trusting, which, you know, we can be. And the more you come with openness, the more you come in sacredness, in reverence to that all of life is interconnected, you will have beautiful things unfolding for you. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, right?
And I just want to clarify, like, yes, we can have this beautiful healing experience of
Yes.
our soul, but that can land into something very practical. Like, to give you an example, the way that my business stands today
Yes.
could not have existed without me visiting these temples. The
Wow.
way that my business exists right now, I birthed that when I was there through visiting these temples over and over and over and over again. I was living close to one when I lived there. We're actually going to stay in the exact same location where I was in
Beautiful.
those first moments in Gozo.
Wow.
And I really want to clarify that it's not all spiritual up here. Like, we can have very profound spiritual experiences, but they can really root and land into our very physical existence.
Yes.
And for me, that was my business. Like, my business, I birthed my business as it is right now, as successful as it is right now, through my experiences there. I brought all these
Amazing.
experiences into the material, and all
Yes.
the intuition and wisdom that I got from there, I brought it into the physical realm of how I used that energy to create what I was brought to do here on earth, which is build a business around cycles that helps people feel better in their bodies and as they walk this path on earth. And I could never, ever have done that in this way, in this clear, truthful way that I'm doing it today without these experiences, these very profound, inexplicable experiences in these temples that somehow kind of like boil down into something very material for me to work with.
Yes.
So I really want to make that clear. When we have breakthroughs that we cannot explain, they need time to like land into our physical form so that they can literally like come out of our hands, come out of our voices, come out of our
Yes.
whatever it is and however it is that we create in this life. And I really feel that the ancients got that. They understood how that
Yes.
worked.
Yes.
And I believe that it can really recalibrate us in who we are supposed to be in this life. And for me,
Yes.
that was really true. Like, I was born to be an entrepreneur and do the work that I am doing. And that was really like, I wasn't sure when I moved there whether that was what I was going to do. I was very insecure, not sure. But through all of these practices, I landed into my purpose. That's literally what happened.
That's,
I aligned my soul with my purpose. And that is why I'm doing this right now, because I want people to experience the same.
that's such a beautiful gift. And for everyone, the gifts that they will receive, they will be different.
Yes.
But there will always be gifts. And if anything, or maybe the most important thing is to come together and remember community and
Mm.
sisterhood. And
Yeah.
remember that we are not alone in this, that we have each other's backs, and that we have compassion and kindness and love in relationship to each other. And that is also so important to remember, because it's something as a modern society we
Mm.
have forgotten more or less. And that is something we get to enjoy again, like our
Yeah.
ancestors.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming on here and taking the time with me to share all of this with the world so people can have a little bit of a better understanding like who we are and why we chose to offer this pilgrimage.
Yes, it's
And
my absolute pleasure.
and I want to say to people who are watching, what you can do. I set up this thing where you get a link when you DM me the word pilgrimage. You will receive the link to the pilgrimage. So all you have to do is just send me a message, type in pilgrimage, and you'll be directly guided to the website. I notice I'm losing my voice after my little
Oh,
cold
bless you.
that I've had.
You've spoken enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
So thank you so much for just being here, being my friend, hosting this
Oh,
pilgrimage with me.
it's such an honor. It's such a delight and such a pleasure. And I love you so much. And I am so excited for the unfolding of this beautiful mystical retreat together on Malta.
Me
It's going to be
too.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a beautiful rest of your day or evening or whatever part of the day it is for you.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
blessings to everyone.
Blessings. So
Bye.
much love. Bye.